What's up everybody, Ghost Girl 007 here, and today's video is going to be a read with me. Today, right now, we're reading I Am Haunted, Living the Life Through the Dead by Zach Bagans. And today we're about to start on page 72, Lockdown Day, What We Do. What do you do on lockdown day? I get this question all the time. So here's the deal. Lockdown day is usually day 3 on location of a Ghost Adventures shoot. The first 2 days, we knock out all the research, tech setup, background shots, B-roll footage, interviews, recreations of events, and adventure sequences. We do something risky to enhance the investigation. I like to find something that connects to the story of the location, like take a boat ride to the site of shipwrecks off the coast of Point Sure, ride along with cops to see human trafficking prevention in action, or rappel into an abandoned mine shaft. I will never do that again. It's one of the things we do to distinguish ourselves from everyone else. The third day is lockdown day, and it's always a special day for me. I usually contact Billy and Jay, who start their day at the ass crack of dawn, to see what's going on with the tech setup. They're responsible for setting up the nerve center and wiring the 4X cameras and being a hands-on guy. I like to know how that process is going early on. I go through with them where we want the cameras, because camera placements is crucial to the success of the production. Like real estate, X cameras are all about location. So I'm picky about where they are set up. I want them in reportedly haunted hotspots at intersections where they can cover lots of ground. So we place them where they can see down long hallways, especially if the camera can shoot down in other long hallway easily when turned remotely. Some of them have remote heads that can be controlled from the nerve center so that Billy and Jay can see more of the location and become a 4th and 5th set of eyes for us. The X cameras are awesome because they're like robotic investigators. They watch our backs and help us capture evidence, both audio and visual, that we might have missed on our own. More important, they can clue Billy and Jay in if any of us are being affected by dark forces. Billy and Jay can contact us by walkie-talkie if they notice one of us behaving strangely, so that we can close in on the person being affected and help him out. For example, when we were investigating the Overland Hotel, the X cameras helped Billy and Jay see that Nick and I both needed help. Nick was definitely under the influence of a spirit downstairs, and I was on my back in the upstairs hallway after some invisible force had run through me. Billy and Jay saw it happen on the X cameras and got us help. These cameras also catch anomalies that manifest near us that we can later connect to a period of our being affected. I can't tell you how many times we've caught balls of light disappearing into someone's body at the same time that person became someone else. So the positioning of the X cameras is very important. And on lockdown day, I'm making sure that they're good to go. After I get out of their hair, Billy and Jay finish setting up all the electronics, which takes about 5... That was just the cat, if you're wondering. Which takes about 5 hours. Aaron and I each spend time alone and go through our own individual routines to get ready for the investigation. As you'll read about later, a lot of weird and hazardous things happen to us during these investigations, and they don't just go away when the sun comes up. A lockdown is draining and frequently takes days to get over, so we don't take this significantly lightly. I am a big fan of mixed martial arts, so I compare my preparation on lockdown day to that of MMA fighter on fight day. I imagine it's like a pilot who has to land a jumbo jet on a tiny dirt strip at night. He knows how to do it, but it's nerve-wracking, and throughout the flight it's in the back of his mind that a lot of people are counting on him to put these beasts safely on the ground. Aaron has a ritual that involves shaving his head with a rusty old Jujutsu knife. I think I'm saying it right. Okay, I made up the genus part, but he does shave his head. That's really all I know about what anyone does to prepare, and all I want to know. Lockdown day is a personal thing, and we respect one another's space. In the days leading up to an investigation, I like to put myself in the shoes of the people whose spirits I am trying to contact. I walk where they walked, sit where they sat, and feel the objects that they held dear. I really enjoy recreating past events, too. Reenactments enable us to tune into the energy of that era, which gives us a better connection to the spirits. People criticize us for not getting straight into the investigation and taking up part of each episode with reenacting an event from the past, but there's more to paranormal investigating than putting on the equipment, going into a building, and walking around. You have to get into the right frame of mind and feel the location, and reenactments help us do that. One of the most important things I do before an investigation is listen to music of the time. For me, music is the key to lockdown prep. I like to listen to tunes that are relevant to the culture and the location. The blues in Mississippi, Creole in New Orleans, bluegrass in Kentucky, battle rhymes in Gettysburg, and Native American music on a reservation. I love the soundtrack from Apocalypto. Athletes often wear headphones on the day they have to perform because it gets them in the right frame of mind. And I'm not no different. Anyone knowingly walking into an event where he has to be at peak performance wants to shut out the world and focus on the task at hand. And music really helps him do that. I take it one step further by using music to better understand the time, place, and people I'm trying to connect with, and maybe even bring us closer together before a lockdown. Instead of just walking through the house and calling out their names, I believe that music is embodied with emotion, and if I can get myself on the same emotional level as the spirits, then we can make a deeper connection. I guess I use it both as an entertainment and a part of the job, but I owe it to everyone to make every effort, no matter how small, to build that bridge between myself and the spirits. I've always loved music because it's so powerful. Whether it's from the past or the present, music has the power to unify and comfort us. It can connect hundreds of thousands of people in an instant, whether they're sad or swaying or dancing all at the same time. We can lose ourselves in it because it enables us to exhale the stress from our lives, like cleansing your plate after you eat something that tastes bad. Listening to music on lockdown day helps me flush 2014. It helps me clear my head, all of the texts, calls, emails I have to return, all the bad news on TV, and all the social media mentions that flood my feed. Besides listening to music, I take time to meditate and organize myself to baseline my blood pressure and my thought process. There's a little more to it than that, but I can't give away all my secrets. What's weird about lockdown day is the drive to the location when it is time to meet up. Call time is usually 7 p.m. We ride together. But the atmosphere is different. The goofy times are over. The setup is complete. The interviews are done. It's time to get dirty and do what we do best. We feel like a SWAT team in a van driving into a serious situation. It's a little tense because we all know it could be a dangerous night, and our only protection is our spiritual armor. We aren't really open with each other about how we protect ourselves individually. It's interesting that we keep quiet about it, actually. But it's a personal thing. Prayers, cleansing, whatever process we have, we keep to ourselves. After filming more than 150 shows and completing hundreds of investigations, I know how serious an investigation can be, what dangers we expose ourselves to, and what we can bring home to our families. We've dealt with possession, obsession, attacks, and all kinds of emotional swings, from extreme sadness to massive joy. We've all cried at one time or another, and we've even refused to continue a lockdown because of how badly we were being affected. We never know what we're in for, but one thing is for sure, we can't go into any location unprepared. Depending on how far away the lockdown is, I also use the drive time to prepare technology. It's probably a little bit of a defense mechanism to keep myself from thinking about the dark forces I might come in contact with. But it's my nature to check and double check everything. So many things can go wrong, and as the lead investigator, I have to guide the team and make sure we deliver a meaningful and complete investigation and a professional product. There's a lot of pressure to deliver. It's stressful, but I am always up to the challenge. So the drive to location is hectic in my mind as I go through all the things that need to happen. Nothing is going to fall apart on my watch. If someone is having a bad day, it sometimes comes out on the way to the site. Just before the Huntington Mansion lockdown, Nick. So I want to show you this picture before I go on to the next page. So that's that picture. That's everything on the picture. Just before the Huntington Mansion lockdown, Nick. Let's get to the next page. Nick and I nearly got into a fight over something so insignificant I can't even remember what it was now. When you're around the same people for so long, these things happen. But like any group of people who are tested and come out on top, we've evolved into a brotherhood. In the end, I have their backs and they have mine. Even if we have a few dust-ups from time to time, when we get into the location, I usually make sure that the production staff has blacked out all the windows, shut off all the lights, and cleared the area. Then I check with security to make sure that there haven't been any violations of the property. Some locations are still open to the public before we begin the lockdown, like the restaurant in the Lep Mansion or the Queen Mary, so we have to take measures to make sure that people don't taint our evidence. At Union Station in Kansas City, the crew was supposed to get everyone out before we started, but for some reason that didn't happen, and our investigation of the main level was contaminated. We thought we had captured an apparition, but it turned out to be a real person who hadn't left the building yet. I was pissed, but it happens, and there's nothing you can do about it. Move on. After uttering a few four-letter words once in a while, it all goes completely wrong, and we have to place the blame where it belongs, on the shoulders of the location managers. If they don't clear the place out, then we have to come right out and say that a piece of evidence isn't paranormal and the location isn't haunted after all. A successful production almost always starts with a good contact person who's willing to help. I love it when we have location managers who are grateful for us to be there. They always make the experience so much better. When they don't give a damn, everything turns out bad. We try not to make it known on camera, but it's not always Disneyland. My last stop before a lockdown is usually the nerve center, where I make sure that the equipment checks have been done so that no technical problems arise. I hate to say it, but friendships get put aside at this point. It's all business from here on out. When the investigation starts, I'll be demanding and controlling, and the guys know it. Being responsible for the show means that sometimes I have to be an asshole. This operation ultimately falls on the shoulders and no one else's, so I can't be weak or have low standards. In the end, lockdown day is like a perfectly choreographed circus of logistics, technology, and people. The smallest mouse being out of sync will cause a chain reaction until the elephants bring down the big top. The credibility of the Travel Channel and the reputation of Ghost Adventures, which we take very seriously, are constantly at stake. So it takes a lot more work than you might think to bring you an entertaining episode and a meaningful investigation. I sincerely hope we have done that and will continue to do so each and every time. So if you like that kind of video, just like and subscribe and comment. And until next time, keep up to the spooks, guys.